What's up, guys? This is the Honest Outlaw here, and today I've got something pretty cool. I'd say really cool. This is the Gideon Arms Shadow. So this is sort of a, I guess not sort of, but a UMP clone. If you're familiar with the H&K UMP, not as successful as the MP5, but in a lot of people's minds, probably the better gun. I'm on the fence about that, but I can tell you there's a lot of things about the Gideon Shadow in particular that I really like. First off, as I said, it is a UMP clone, but this is a closed bolt, recoil operated 9mm. I think the UMP was originally in 40 cal or 45, I can't remember, but it's actually pretty cool that these come in a lot of different calibers. I'm a big 9mm guy. I just have a lot of 9mm stored up, and especially in times like 2021, you want to have a gun in a caliber that you have a lot of because ammunition can be relatively hard to find. Although, if you have some stored up 40, 45, 10mm, another good way to go. I actually bought this just basically because it was cool and I saw it and I'd never heard of it before, but I've thought of a few applications since then. So I got this at Mr. Guns in Waterloo, Iowa, and I was pretty excited it was a 9mm because I could use my Omega 9K suppressor. So I threw this tri-lug adapting brake on there that I can't remember where I got this, but I'm starting to put the tri-lug system on all of my guns. That way I can just pull my suppressor off and put it on, and hopefully it'll run relatively well. Comes with a Picatinny rail up front. I think this is a 5 or 6 inch barrel. I actually don't know what the barrel length of this is. Looks like more like 6 or 7. So overall it's got a little bit longer barrel than a pistol, so it's going to have a little bit more velocity on there, a little bit more hitting power in that 9mm caliber. It's got a paddle mag release on here, and it does take UMP mags, at least I believe it does. I should say I hope it does, because I have some UMP mags coming from H&K Parts, and hopefully they work pretty well, but that's what the website said. It actually had a link to the H&K Parts website. Now it has a 2-position safety on there, safe and semi-automatic, so no fun switch on there for you, but still pretty cool. Picatinny rail up top. Same style of charging handle as the MP5, which is pretty sweet, although this does have a last round bolt hold open, and it does have a bolt release over here, taking away probably the biggest disadvantage of the MP5. We're going to be talking about the MP5 a lot because the UMP is designed to take over the MP5's position. It never really did, but I think that it has a lot of cool features on it that make it a very unique and interesting firearm overall. First off, the trigger is pretty good, at least it feels pretty good. A little heavy like all the other H&K products, but it still is bomb-proof and very reliable. Came with this folding SB Tactical brace, which is really nice because unlike something like an AR, you don't need a buffer tube system on this, so you can fold it up and make it a nice and tight little package, which is pretty cool also. Got the RMR on there with the American Defense QD mount, and it does come with some pretty sweet MP5 style sights with the hooded front sight on there, which looks pretty nice, along with the quad rails. I have a real love affair with how this gun looks, so hopefully it shoots really nice as well. Another comparison to the MP5 is that even though the UMP looks a lot bigger than the MP5, and the MP5 is touted as a gun that is very lightweight, this Gideon Shadow and the UMP series is a lot lighter than an MP5. On my scale, this was about 1.5 pounds lighter than my MP5. So that makes it a very intriguing design overall, especially if you're going to be carrying it long distances or potentially using it as a truck gun. I go to a lot of my buddies' houses all the time, and I shoot at their house and this and that, and I always want to have something kind of cool in the truck I can bust out and shoot for fun and kind of show off, but also be relatively useful. And I'm thinking maybe this fills that role. It looks very cool, it's extremely unique. I've never met anybody else that has one, so if it runs really well and it is very reliable, I think it would make a pretty good emergency truck gun. And because of that, I have it fitted out with the tri-lug adapter, but the reason why I like 9mm or 300 blackouts or something like that is if you do have a truck gun that you don't have time to throw ear pro on, you might be inside a parking garage if you need to use it or something like that. Wherever you decide to use it, the 9mm won't blow your eardrums out like 223 will indoors. So it's a very useful gun overall, still packs quite a punch, definitely easier to shoot than a pistol, even though it fires a pistol caliber, because it has the brace system on the back with more points of contact, just easier to shoot overall. I also think if it's reliable, it'll make a good home defense weapon, but hey, why speculate? Why don't we go down the range and check this out and see how it shoots? Before we do that, I want to thank my Patreon supporters. Because of you, I can afford to get guns like this. I actually got this in Mr. Guns in Waterloo, Iowa, and I did pay for it with the Patreon dollars. So thank you guys very much. If you want to sign up for the Patreon, all you have to do is go down to the link in the description and sign up. Also in the description is a link to a local shelter, the YSS in Ames, Iowa. I'd really appreciate it. It's a youth shelter and those kids could really use your support. Finally, there's a link to t-shirts and swag and all that cool stuff that the missus made you, so go check that out. That's not ideal. Not a good sign. Multiple malfunctions and failures to fire. Not a good sign. Looks like the Gideon arms might not be a replacement for the UMP after all. For fuck's sake.
Okay. Or not. Uh-oh. Did you cut yourself?
Fuck this gun. Alright, so a couple of learned lessons already in the first like 5 or 10 shots of the Gideon Shadow. Number one, it's not going to run my cheap reman ammunition, which I have thousands and thousands of rounds of, which is fine. We have some stock ammunition here. We're going to try some PMC bronze. I have Cellar and Bellet, and I also have some Federal bulk pack here. We're going to give a shot here and see if that helps out with the malfunctions here. Sometimes guns like this, especially blowback operated, they need a little more pressure to run. So sometimes even remanufactured ammunition, if it's running a little bit light, it won't operate the gun. So we're gonna see if that has some issues. Also, I'm gonna throw on some gloves because the first time I tried to clear the malfunction there, the rails caught me. So one of the things that you're going to give up with the price of an H&K is you're gonna give up some of the overall build quality. And one of those things is gonna be the unbelievably sharp rails that are on there that I didn't notice until I noticed, if you know what I mean. So yeah, so obviously immediately less impressed than I was up at the stand there when I was talking earlier. Hopefully we can find an ammunition for this to run, but I think even if I do, the hopes of me ever using this for a serious gun were already dashed. So we've got some Cellar and Bellet in there, 115 grain, and we'll see if that runs. Threw a gang of lube on the bolt and all inside there just to make sure. It was already lubed up, but I just wanted to make sure it was really wet this time, give it a good chance to come back and forth. It felt very sluggish when it was operating, so yeah, we'll see what we can do now. Also, I have the gloves on, so hopefully that helps a little bit. We'll continue the sight-in process and see if we have any more well, failure to feeds, misfires, every type of malfunction known to man. Yep, definitely the gun. Same thing, even when I strip the round, the round doesn't fall out. Stuck in the barrel.
This is gonna be fun.
Yeah, this is gonna end up probably like the Springfield, where we just call it halfway through the video and decide it's not worth our time and tell people not to buy it. I mean, first impressions are a mother, especially with a gun over 1,500 bucks.
Mm-hmm.
I got 5 in a row there.
Wow, impressive. Pretty good group.
Yeah, big line. I was shooting it relatively quick. I'm more worried about the reliability now than anything else. So I'm just gonna get it kind of close and then plink around on the steel and see what we can come up with. Accuracy doesn't mean anything if the gun doesn't work. We'll just plink around a little bit, close enough 0 to 50 on the 0. So just see if we can hit some steel. Another failure to fire. Take two. Try it again. Oh, we even had a lockback that time. Maybe it's working itself out through the break-in period, I hope. All kinds of malfunctions with all kinds of ammo. We have been running Cellar and Belt, which has been the most reliable. Federal didn't work, reman ammo didn't work. We're gonna try some PMC here in a minute, but I don't think it's ammo related. I'm gonna be honest with you. We're having some failure to fires, firing pins hitting the primer, not going off, which means there's some sort of issue with the firing pin. We're also having some double feeds, and now we've had some failures to extract as well. Looks like the it actually ripped the case there. Let's see if we can take a look at it here. Okay, look at that case. Oh. Something is afoot in there, that's for sure. All right, so we have another failure to extract now. Take a look at it, see what it's like. Extractor's just ripping pieces off the case. We'll get through this mag, and I think we're just gonna call it good. 2020, the way things are, ammunition's so precious, no reason to waste time. Even a freaking malfunction on the last round. If it was between this and the MP5, I think you have a pretty good opinion of which one I'm gonna choose. So, first and maybe final impressions of the Gideon Shadow is it has a lot of issues. I was actually worried about that. You know, if you get these cheaper is a funny word because it's still a $1,500 pistol, but definitely cheaper than a UMP, partly because the UMPs are not importable to the United States, at least that I'm aware of. I've never met anybody with an actual real one. There are Tommy built versions, although I've had my own problems with Tommy built versions. I've had my own problems with any kind of H&K clone for the most part. Some of the MP5 clones are usually pretty good, but they're also made on MP5 tooling, like the Zenith and things like that. The new Century Arms, I think, are as well. I was really hoping that this would work very well. I was worried about it, so worried about it that I brought out 5 different types of ammo, which I normally do not do, just simply because if a gun looks too good to be true, it generally is, and this gun looks so good. It looks so good that I wanted it to work so bad, and those are the guns that generally do not work. Controls are all right. As far as the reliability goes, we had a whole bunch of different types of malfunctions, including some that you didn't see on camera. Most of them were failures to fire where the firing pin hit the round and the round didn't go off. And then I took a look at the actual primer on the back of the round, and you could tell it was a light primer strike. Now, we also had some failures to extract where the casings were just completely, basically ripped apart, or the end of the casing was ripped off. We also had them get stuck with the bolt coming to the rear and catching the spent casing and then smashing it up in with the round that it was trying to feed. We also had some failure to feeds, and we had some double feeds. So we had a little mix of everything. So it's a good gun for malfunction clearance drills, not so good for anything serious. As far as the gun, aside from reliability, the accuracy was relatively difficult to get. One of the reasons for that, I assume, is behind the design and the UMP design as well, as the trigger is relatively stiff, and on top of that, there's a real weird, clunky recoil impulse going on with it that you didn't get a chance to feel, but you did get a chance to see. Definitely more recoil than your average MP5 or CMG Banshee or something like that. CMMG Banshee, which is my current truck gun, which this will not be replacing. But anyway, this does look a little cooler than the CMMG Banshee, but the CMMG Banshee shoots better, is more reliable, is more accurate, and overall cheaper than this. So I don't have a whole lot of good things to say about the Gideon Shadow at the moment. We're gonna get a hold of Gideon or whoever makes this gun, and we're gonna see if we can send it in and get some of the issues fixed, although that is a lot of damn issues to fix. If it was just the light primer strikes, I wouldn't have a worry. I was thinking maybe it was just the firing pin when we had the first couple. I was like, come on baby, work. But after 100 rounds of Cellar and Bellet, 25 rounds of PMC, and about 50 rounds of I forget what type of reman. I think that's Freedom Munitions or Phoenix, I can't remember. But after that amount of ammo, we still get about 5 to 7 rounds before we have a failure, and that is on the long stretch. So not worth me continuing the video at the moment, but I will certainly give you an update and let you know how this shit show turns out. But if you want to see more of this gun, or if you want to see more guns like it, we definitely have a ton of SMGs on the way. We have the Thompson, I just got a P90, we have the new Banshee that's coming out that you guys haven't seen yet from my buddy Mike over there at CMMG, and then we have quite a few others as well, including the PTR MP5. We've got the 1,000 round review of the MP5K. So we're gonna have a ton of SMGs on the channel, and I'm certain one of those is gonna work. If you like this video, please like and subscribe. Please help out your Oklahoma shelters, and remember to recycle. I'll check you later.